My name is Marissa. I work at the Student Wellness Center, and today we're going to begin our conversation about boundaries and talk primarily about some of the basics that everyone should know. First things first, what even are boundaries? Broadly defined, personal boundaries are guidelines or limits that a person creates to establish acceptable ways for others to treat them and how they're going to respond when those limits are passed. Boundaries can also include how a person treats themselves, such as setting limits for social media use, things like that. So the second question, why are boundaries important? For one, boundaries can help you take better control of your life, build better self-esteem and self-worth, and separate yourself as an individual from the wants and needs of others. So really looking out for yourself, putting yourself first. Healthy and properly communicated boundaries can make us happier and improve our relationship with those around us and our relationship with ourselves. In fact, they're an important aspect of self-care that I think isn't really talked about as much. With that being said, boundaries can take many forms. Sources vary, like on the internet and stuff, but it's generally thought and accepted that there are physical boundaries, intellectual boundaries, emotional boundaries, material boundaries, time boundaries, and sexual boundaries. So physical boundaries are going to involve personal space and touch. Intellectual boundaries involve respect for people's thoughts and ideas, especially when they're different from yours. Emotional boundaries obviously deal with feelings. Sexual boundaries deal with limits to sexuality, so that includes emotional and physical aspects. Time boundaries involve the way that we choose to spend our time, how we give that time to others. And material boundaries involve our money and possessions. I'm going to link a few articles below if you want to read more about the types of boundaries and what healthy boundaries are for each aspect of life and what that can look like, because I don't have time to go very into depth about them here. But it's important to remember that boundaries can be interpersonal or intrapersonal, meaning that we can set boundaries with others, which is interpersonal, or with ourselves, which is intrapersonal. Signs that our boundaries may be in need of work are anger and resentment towards others, feelings of exhaustion and a lack of self-care generally, so not getting enough sleep, things like that, or the tendency to do what others want even if we don't want to do that thing. So now that you know some of the boundary basics, we're going to continue that conversation tomorrow by talking about how boundaries relate to the election this year. So I'll see you then.